Hello dear students, we are back again. Today we are going to take our writing lesson. So you do remember the narrative writings we took before, story about me and the narrative paragraph. So today we are going to take the friendly letter. So first we learned before that to write a paragraph I start with the title. I leave some space. I start with the topic sentence. It has to answer the questions who, what, when, and where. And then I start with the details. First, next, then, last, and then comes the conclusion. I finish it with an exclamation mark because in the conclusion I talk about my feelings. Today we are going to talk about a friendly letter. How do I write a friendly letter and why? So we write friendly letters to people we know well. So for example, I have a friend in Canada, for example, and I want to write her a letter. So we might write a friendly letter to our parents, grandparents, or our friends. This is an example of a friendly letter. We have here some details, here some details, here the big detail, here a detail, and here a detail. What do you think about these details? How do we call them? These details are the parts. We have the heading, greeting, body, closing, and signature. Now, where are these parts? How do I find them? So, heading is the first part of a friendly letter. The heading includes the writer's address and the date. The heading is written in the upper right-hand corner of the page. So, this is an example of a heading. It has the address, 311 East Duke Street, Stanley, New York City, and this is the number. And the date, for example, August 15, 2004. So, again, the heading is made of two parts, the address and the date. Where, when. And we find it on the upper right-hand corner of the page. After the heading, we have the greeting. The greeting is like this. Dear Phil, Dear Muhammad, Dear Omar, Dear Sarah, Dear Dahlia. The second part of the friendly letter is the greeting. It is written under the heading at the left margin. It begins with a capital letter and ends with a comma. So as you can see, this is the beginning of a friendly letter. We start on the right corner, the upper right corner with the heading. On the right margin, we write the left margin, we write the greeting. And it's in this form, always this form. We start with the capital letter, the word dear, and then the noun of the person we are sending to, and of course it is capitalized, and after the noun we write comma. So it's always like this. Dear in capital, noun in capital, and then comma. Now we start with the body. What do you want to say to the person you are writing to? So for example, I want to write a friendly letter to my grandma to tell her that I passed the year with an A+. So we put what we want to say in the body of the letter. The body of the letter is in paragraph form. The first line of each paragraph is indented. So, for example, how was your summer been? How has your summer been? Not too hot, I hope. Did you get to visit your grandparents? Did you go on your trip to Toronto as you had hoped? They say Toronto is a beautiful city. So these are examples of things we could write in our letter to our friend or whoever. So here comes the body in the friendly letter. Heading on the upright, greeting on the left margin, and then comes the body in the form of a paragraph. So how has your summer been? Not too hot, I hope. Did you get to visit your grandparents? Did you go on your trip to Toronto as you hoped? They say Toronto is a beautiful city. Question mark, indent. So for each part in the body, we skip a line and we indent. I'm looking forward to see you soon. There is lots of news to catch up on. Exclamation mark, because I'm expressing my feelings. Now the rest of the friendly letter parts, we have the closing and the signature. These are the last parts on the friendly letter. Your closing might be your friend, capital, friend, comma, or yours truly, capital, comma, or sincerely, capital, comma, or your son, for example, if you're writing for your parents, also capital, comma. The closing is lined up directly under heading. So where do I write the heading? On top of the right of the letter. Down on the right, I write the closing is right here under the heading. It begins with a capital letter, as we said, and ends with a comma. The signature is your name. Your name. So in the greeting, we write the person's name that we're writing to. In the signature, we write our own name, and it comes directly under the closing. So here is the example. The closing, your friend, capital, comma. The signature, Mike. So from here, I can say that Mike is writing this letter to Phil, because the name of the receiver is written in the greetings and the name of the writer is written in the signature or the sender. And this would be the shape of the friendly letter. As we said, the heading is on the upright of the letter. Under it directly comes the closing and the signature, and the greeting is on the left of the friendly letter, and in the middle we have the body where we write all the things we want, and we do not forget that we indent in each part and we write with a capital letter, and that would be the friendly letter. So let's make a small practice. Click on the correct greeting. Which greeting you think it's the accurate one? Is it Dear Phil with a lowercase, or Dear Phil without a comma, or Dear Phil capital, capital, comma, or Dear Phil lowercase, lowercase, comma? I say it's this. Correct? Why not? Excellent, because it doesn't start with the capital letter. So is it this? Why not? It's capital also. Excellent, it doesn't end with a comma. So this would be the correct answer. Excellent work. What about this one? Click on the correct closing. Is it your friend? Lowercase, lowercase, no comma. Or your friend, capital, comma. Or friend, capital, comma. Or your friend, lowercase, lowercase, comma. I think it's this one, friend. No, why? Because it should have your, yes. So this is the correct answer. Excellent work. Now, what about the lines skipping? When do I skip lines in the body? Do I skip them only between the body and closing? Or only after the heading? Or between each line in the paragraph? Or between each letter part and paragraphs? Excellent. Between each letter part and paragraphs. I want you to guess which part is this part. Is it the heading, the greeting, the body, the closing, or the signature? Excellent. It is the heading. Now what about this part? This part over here. What do we call it? The one that starts with dear, has a name, and ends with a comma. Excellent. It's the greeting. What about this part? It's the body. Great job. What about this part? It is the closing. Excellent work. What about this part? It's the signature. Excellent. It has the name of the one who wrote the friendly letter. So now you know how to write a friendly letter. I hope you would write a friendly letter to me. Remember to stay safe and wash your hands. Bye.